Hello, everyone. This is Kate Steinbacher with the Coaches Console, and I have with me today Kim Parrott. And Kim was one of the 11 top amazing winners of our Easy Breezy Bootcamp. There's a lot to say. Easy Breezy Bootcamp Extravaganza. So basically, she has gone through an entire program, actually it turned out to be 14 weeks with bonuses, and she followed all of the directions, she completed all of the information, and she came out in the top 11 of all of our 250 graduates. And boy, has she earned this honor. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Kim.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
So
Kate.
glad. So Bootcamp is about getting a coach or another service-based entrepreneur up and running as a viable business. Many of you out there have been coaches already. Kim's been around. She knows coaching inside and out. She works with executives. But, you know, getting the back end sexy of your business is what really, really helps entrepreneurs be viable business owners. And by viable, I mean money making. Because what we know is if we're not making money, we end up leaving the industry, and then the world suffers because coaching is so amazing and important. So, Kim, I'm going to ask you a few questions about Bootcamp, about yourself, and let's get started, okay? Great. So, in the beginning, what made you sign up for Bootcamp?
Well, it was quite simple. I was online looking for a calendar tool that I could share with clients. And I came across the Coaches Console and I got into the material, and then I started seeing the language around, are you feeling overwhelmed with the back end of your business? And do you want to feel more confident and be able to put your energy into the work you love as opposed to the infrastructure? And that's what grabbed me. So I started with something small, but I ended up with something much bigger.
Nice, nice. So tell us about what's your niche? Who do you serve? Who do you work with?
I work with two niches. One is senior leaders who have intact teams. So in leadership today, there's a lot of noise. There's competing priorities. Sometimes there's interpersonal conflict on the team. And so the result of working with Sea Change Resources is to cut through the din, to help leaders clarify their priorities, to empower their team with particular skills so that ultimately they can focus on what matters most. So the other niche are emerging leaders. So these are high performers who are on the fast track and they've been promoted quickly, often beyond their experience base. So the result of working with Sea Change is to really accelerate that professional maturation. So not only do they catch up with their current promotion, but they're laying the groundwork for the next one.
Wow. Tell me, what kind of results have people that worked with you obtained?
Well, a senior leader and their team that I worked with through most of last year is looking at being identified as the top department in their industry. So that's one example. I have individuals in the emerging leader department who have described working with me as life transforming. Nice.
And boy, when you're in business and under a lot of stress and pressure, having that confidant, that guide, that partner for success is really kind of what you become. Is that correct?
That is. And having a coach who is external to the business can be really helpful too. You get that outside objective resource.
Yeah, that's so important. Well, tell me this. You know, the boot camp was 10 sessions, 4 clinic calls, you had homework, a Facebook group, Monday coaching, Tuesday coaching. What parts were most helpful for you? What jumped out at you as for your growth and for helping you become a rock star?
Yeah. Well, I have a full work schedule, so I had to pick and choose. And I would say that the webinars and the clinic calls were really helpful, and I've been able to go back to those notes and glean more. I also think the repetition that happened throughout the program, the reinforcement, was also critical in having the most important lessons sink in. So that in combination with my coach, who was really enthusiastic and also gave me some very valuable feedback, And then the third piece I think that was super helpful was being able to look at last year's rock stars, to look at their websites and see what does an effective website look like.
Mm-hmm.
Those three things for me.
Cool. Excellent. And just to clarify for folks listening, when you're in the Easy Breezy Bootcamp, you also get a coach assigned to you. So you can connect with them through what we call a client log, which is an email system, and they can give you feedback and encouragement and help set you straight if necessary, etc. So great. Awesome. Okay. One of the things you just said struck me is, you've got a business going. So this wasn't something that you could put everything aside. How the heck did you make sure that this happened? So to the point where you got into the top 11?
Well, I used the extravaganza contest as my motivator. I had a concrete list of things.
You're a little bit quiet. Can you either lean forward or speak up? Thanks.
I used the extravaganza contest as my motivator. I had a concrete list of to-dos. And so even though it was towards the end of the year in the holiday season, a lot going on, I just kept nibbling away at that list. And I was just determined to meet that deadline no matter what. So that's what did it for me.
Yeah. Okay. So you set that deadline and made the steps to get there like a coach. Woohoo! I love it. So what kind of results have come about for you as a result of being involved in this boot camp?
I would say the number one result is that I am now confident and clear about what I need to do next. And a big part of that is knowing what I shouldn't be doing. Because as I look back on the last 10 years and I went through the boot camp, it became clear why I haven't been as effective as I'd like to be. So now I know what I shouldn't do as well as what I should do.
Nice. And doesn't that help free up some time and energy for you?
It certainly does.
Yeah, cool. So, okay, what was your most embarrassing realization moment during the boot camp?
Don't sell the boat, because really that I think is what I've been doing for the last decade. And I think it's a trap that a lot of coaches fall into. We love the products that we develop. We're passionate about our services. And so that's what we want to talk about. But that's not what the client needs to hear. And so, that is the deep abyss that I have been in for quite a while. That was the realization for me that was embarrassing.
Nice boy. And it's so easy to fall into that trap, as you said. So if you don't sell the boat, basically what you do to help people, what do you sell?
Well, this is the whole pain island, pleasure island piece. And I think another really valuable piece of the boot camp were those interviews that I did with my ideal clients. And then to take their language and really look at that and check that against my own assumptions, so that I am focusing on that pain to pleasure and not on the boat.
Yeah. Good for you. It makes such a huge difference for everyone. And many of us, and in the boot camp, one of the things Melinda, my business partner, asks everyone to do is to talk to 3 or 5 people that might be part of your business, might be an ideal client for you, and ask them, what is their pain? And because we tend to speak from our perspective, but what works is speaking from the client's perspective. So congratulations for doing that, Kim. You said you'd been in business for quite some time. You're successful in business. Now you have the back end of your business set up and automated and running for you. What do you see as the big plus for that?
Well, I think it gives me the ability to scale up. So I've been doing certain things.
I'm going to ask you to come closer again because you're a little quiet.
I've been doing certain things, piloted programs, proven that they're effective, but it's really at a small scale. And so I think the efficiency that I'm capturing now through Coaches Console is going to enable me to scale up and basically move to the next business model as well.
That's exciting. Congratulations. I love it. So what would you tell a new coach that's thinking about getting involved in this? How do you become one of the top tenors?
Well, the first thing I would say is it's take the time to invest. This is even before people commit to the coach's console. In the beginning, you're just eager to get out there. I remember that. But to take the time and money to invest and really slow down enables you to get traction and then accelerate after that. So I would say invest early. I would also say if you're like me and you've been out there, it's still worth the investment. It was really more of a pruning process. But now I'm leaner and meaner. So those are the two things I would say. And I'm just thinking, your second question is how to become a rock star.
Yeah.
Just gonna look at my. I think the clearer we are on what it is we want, the more likely we'll get there. So just getting that clarity of purpose around who do I want to work with, what difference can I make, that's what gets you up in the morning and gets you working through all those difficult stages.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what were your top takeaways from the program for you?
Well, I had to winnow it down to 5. There were many. I'd say the 5th one was this idea of the know, like, trust relationship pipeline. And that can take a while. And so you don't try to sell your biggest offering right off the bat. You need to develop the relationship, and that's incremental. So in some cases, for me, with some of my signature offerings, it can even be a 2-year relationship pipeline that I need to start small and build and not try to rush that process. Not everything's 2 years, but the biggest clients are. So that was takeaway 5. Takeaway 4, this idea of 5 touches, that 80% of people bite on the 5th, but not before, and that 90% of us don't go beyond 4 or less. Yeah. I can look back through reams of marketing campaigns that I've done over the years where I stopped at 3 and maybe went to 4. I just wasn't going the distance. So that was very powerful. Don't sell the boat. I've already talked about that. That's the trap I've been in. I won't again. 1 banana site. I loved this idea of really simplifying my website, my marketing materials. So I'm only asking one thing. And as I was redesigning my homepage, I was asking people to do possibly 5 different things from that homepage. So taking that design concept and applying it to the whole website has been helpful. And then the final and my favorite piece is my timing is perfect. My timing is perfect. My timing is perfect. I love that.
Yes. Yes. And that's Melinda. Melinda, my business partner and the CEO of Coaches Console. She understands about time more than anyone I know. And she's able to take time and stretch it somehow. And the way she does it is say, my timing is perfect, because that helps us calm down, focus on what we can, do what we can, and keep moving. And so brilliant. Wow. Oh, those are awesome. Well, here's what I'd like to do. I want to show a quick picture of you and your website so people can get that in writing. And while I'm showing that, I would love it if you talk a little bit about who is the person that's going to want to connect with you most? Like, who's that person? What do they look like, sound like? What are their challenges? While I show my screen and show your picture.
Well, I think that the person who most benefit from working with Sea Change Resources, and there are two groups. One is the senior leader who's in charge of a function or a division and has a team. And working with Sea Change Resources it's a process. It can take up to 6 months. Some clients have been working with the organization for several years. Not to say that the whole process takes that long, but that it's a long-term process, relationship. And so a leader's often faced with a lot of complexity, a lot of noise, competing priorities, and even interpersonal dynamics on the team that aren't as productive as they could be. So we work together. I work with the senior leader and the team to cut through the noise, to get clarity on priorities, to work with the team around interpersonal dynamics, so that ultimately the team is unleashed to focus on what they do best, and the senior leader can focus on what matters most, the big picture.
That's huge.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I just showed your picture, and your website is Sea Change, SEA, like the ocean, dash resources. And you'll find more there. And you'll find Kim's free gift. And the information that she shares is very valuable, and something that I think any person in that management place, whether you have a team or you've just been moving up. I used to work with executives and managers moving up as well. And boy, as much help, I used to be one too, so as much help as we can all get makes a huge difference. Well, Kim, any last comments? It's been such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, it is. Let me just review my notes to see if there's
Sure.
anything here that I wanted to share with you. No, I think we've covered the bases. I would just say, you know, when I found the Coaches Console page and I realized that it was really something I should do, I fought it. I fought it tooth and nail for several weeks, because
Wow.
I just undergone some other development for myself and my business, and I really didn't feel I could afford the time, most of all.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that it was the most fortunate accident I've had to trip over the Coaches Console page, because I have gotten more value out of this boot camp, and obviously the platform itself, than anything else I have done in my business, and possibly even in my education. So I'm profoundly grateful for that.
Thank
And
you
as I
so
said,
much.
I fought it.
Yeah, I hear you.
The value has been remarkable.
Wow.
Unparalleled.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. And it has been a pleasure to have you in the course. And please stick with the Facebook group. We try to keep everyone connected because we all learn and grow together. And you're a little bit ahead of a lot of our folks. So your being a part of it has been a huge, huge help as well. And I'm so glad that it's going well for you. Good luck in your business. It's already doing well. Folks, you would not go wrong working with this gal. She knows her stuff, and we so appreciate you being part of Coaches Console and the boot camp as well. Thank you so much for being with us today. Bye for now.
Thank you, Kate.